This week on the Business Owner's Corner, I'd like to cover a topic that we get a ton of questions about in our financial planning practice, and that's how and when to distribute cash from an HVAC business. We work with a lot of business owners. A lot of people we work with have HVAC businesses, and what typically happens is over time, you go do work, you bill, you invoice, cash accumulates in the business bank account, but then oftentimes a lot of people don't know how or when to distribute that cash. If you have an S corporation, your accountant might tell you to pull some of that cash out that they'll W-2 you out for. You pay yourself a wage through W-2 from the business bank account. If you have an LLC or a sole proprietorship, you might just take a little bit of money out of the business bank account or draws to pay yourself periodically. But what's happening for a lot of our clients right now is that excess cash is accumulating in the business bank account. And that can be an issue long term because inflation is a thing. We're seeing inflation numbers of 5, 6, 7% per year, meaning the price of the goods and services that we like to consume every year is going up and up and up. But guess what? The cash sitting in your business bank account is earning a heck of a lot less than that just sitting there. So when you start to feel a little uncomfortable or unsure about how and when you have extra cash sitting in the business that you need to take out, here's a framework that you can use. Number one, take a look at your P&L. If you take a look at last year's profit and loss statement, divide the total expenses by 12, and give yourself an idea of what your typical monthly expense profile looks like. Now, if you have a growing business, you're taking on employees, you have other projects that are going to require additional cash outlays, you probably need to get a little bit more scientific than this. But if you have a consistent amount of expenses, you always need a little bit of cash in the business bank account as working capital or a slush fund to pay those expenses because things can come up, revenues can dry up. We don't want to be in a situation where we're short on cash. That said, you probably don't need hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting there unnecessarily. So the way that we like to think about this is take a look at your monthly expenses, multiply it by somewhere between 3 and 6. Most people that we work with like to keep between 3 months and 6 months worth of operating expenses in the business bank account. So a simple example, if you've got $10,000 a month of expenses and you're comfortable with 6 months worth of expenses in the bank account, if you have 100 grand in the bank account, that means you have $40,000 too much. 10,000 multiplied by 6 is $60,000. That should be the amount you keep in there. Anything in excess of $60,000 you should distribute to yourself. Now, the deal is, from a tax standpoint, in a pass-through business like an S-corp or an LLC or a sole proprietorship, it doesn't matter whether you keep the cash in the business bank account or you pay it to yourself by taking it out of the business account, putting it in your personal account. You're going to be taxed on it as an individual either way. So it truly doesn't matter from a tax perspective which account the cash sits in. And for that reason, if you have extra cash sitting in the business account, if you don't have a qualified retirement account like a 401k or a SEP or a simple IRA, those are good things to have in place at first because you can take some of the cash, put it in one of these accounts, and you don't pay tax on the amount that you contribute. So it's a nice tax savings tool there off the bat. You can also go purchase equipment, find other ways, eligible deductions to reduce your tax liability for the year. That can be helpful. But if you've got all those boxes checked already and you have extra cash sitting in the business, every single day that the cash sits there, you're losing purchasing power to inflation. And it makes a lot more sense to either take the cash out, put it in your personal account, maybe invest it in a taxable account, maybe pay down debt, high interest rate debt first usually, or business debt if you have that. You can bonus your employees out if that's part of your long-term strategy and planning. There are a number of things that you can do. But oftentimes what we're seeing right now is business owners who've had a good couple of years, and HVAC businesses have really done well, people that we've spoken with for the most part, you have more cash than you need just sitting in the account. And that's kind of a drag on performance long term. There are much more efficient things to do with that cash. So either find some projects and growth stuff that you can use the cash to buy and put it back into the business and grow and build revenue. contribute it to a qualified retirement plan to reduce your taxation, or find some other eligible expense, a deductible expense you can spend it on, or distribute it to yourself, invest it, pay down debt. That's typically how we like to think about it.